Hello and welcome back to another daily cribbage. We are against Still. I think we've been against Still before, but I don't remember their profile picture. We've got an ace 6 7, leaves us with a nice discard. Although there is ace 7 7, which is pretty huge, so let's do that. 8 points is better than 4 points. We'll start off with a triple. Opponent gets a little bit of compensation though, because they got the 10 to get to 31. Compensation is whenever your opponent gets a big combo on the play, but after the combo you get a few points back. And the 5 on top, always better for the dealer, as I like to say, and in this case, opponent does get 21 points in this round, which is really good for them. We do hit a queen, which gives us the double run, and the 16-point hand. So, this is going to take us to about 31, 32, and we'll see how many points we get in the crib. Opponent doesn't get to the next milestone, so we might be in pretty good shape here if we manage to get a good crib, but nothing like that turns up, and we need to score a lot of points in order to get to the milestone of 44. Now, we could discard something like 6-8 in order to try and hit jacks, but I think 8 king is perfectly fine here. And the point is, oh, now I see all 4 kings. Okay, king. So queen was a fairly safe lead there because we know our opponent can't pair our queen, but we also know that our opponent's getting to 44, but we got a few points on the play, so we get there first, just about. There's a couple of ways to keep 6 points in hand, but this is the only way that puts 2 points in the crib. Double 3, double 7, 8, and we've got a magic 11 in hand, so we'll try and play that out. Okay, we get the magic 11, very nice. Let's see what our opponent has here, a 4 and a 5, so they get a run from this 3, and 7 points, and this 5 in the crib is putting in a little bit of work. We have 4 points there, and now we keep the 6-6-9. Do we want to keep it with a 10 king or a queen? Do we want to throw away 10 king for safety or queen king for points? I think we'll throw away queen king for points here, because we do make these kinds of runs. Okay, so we get a couple of points here. The opponent doesn't have anything that is 8 or less, but I assume they're going to get a lot of points out of our 10. No, they don't have a way to turn it into a run. Always scary when you have to play an adjacent card to your opponent. So we just about managed to get to 70. We are going through our averages. The computer there likes to play a bit safer, but we do need the points. We have a flush in hand. It allows us to throw away 6-9 into the crib. And I will take that. I think it seems fine to me. It was very worth considering throw away 2-9, but it does not do very good things for our crib. Okay, so our opponent has 8-9, and I assume maybe a 6 or something. No, they had a 5, so 7-8-9 is kind of scary here because they get the double run for 10 points, but hopefully we get back quite a few points. Okay, well, we make the minimum, which was 6 points because we did throw away 6-9, but we're in really good position for the next round. We got 2-3-4, which we're going to keep, and we could keep it with any of these cards. The only one that doesn't really give away too many points is the 6 jack. We get to lead the 3 here if our opponent pairs it. Then we have some compensation in our 9. Opponent have anything low? Yes, they haven't. One ace, which makes me think they've got an 8 here, but no, they had a 5 instead. So the ace doesn't make too much sense in their hand, which is why it's only worth 5 points instead of 7 points, say. If they had a 2 or a 3 or an 8 instead. Okay, so this is a cool hand. We've got double ace, double 4, and often you want to keep double ace, double four together, but I'm just going to keep solid points here. I think it's very fine to do that, so I'm going to keep double four and throw away ace nine. And we'll play our four here. Expect our opponent has some threes. We have a four. I have 4, 2, 2, 6. An interesting hand, all even numbers, but doesn't really get them very far. We are 4 points away. The computer really doesn't like that discard, which makes sense. So I'm not really doing it for the benefit of the computer. So we'll keep 2 points here, and there's a lot of ways we can get another 2 points, just like that. And we'll come up to 24. Play out our queen. There's no way our opponent can get all these points that they need, and that is good game. Alright, so it was pretty close at the end there. Here's the tail of the match. Overall, things are pretty even. We got a few more extra points on the play. Let's jump back a couple of rounds to the one where the computer didn't like what we did. So this is a hand that the computer didn't like our discard in this case. So we discarded the ace nine of clubs, but let's sort of talk about why it thought that and what was the reason for our play instead. So the scores are 98-99 with a dealer, so we have a good position on our opponent. We've made our milestone, and our opponent is pawn needing to get over 20 points if they want to go out this round. And if they don't go out this round, then we're set to get out in 2 rounds time. We only need 23 points. So what are we looking at? We're looking at double ace, double four, 9 jack, and the most natural discard, or the first thing you would think about here, is double ace, double four. Why is that? Well, it doesn't keep, it's not many points. It's not as many points as what we did with the ace, double four, jack. However, it has very good improving potential. What do I mean by that? Well, if you keep double ace, double four, that's a lot of combos of 5, and whenever you cut a 10, and there are a lot of 10s left in the deck, if you think about it, there are 16 minus 1, because we see one of them, there are 15, and so that means that, well, 15, how many times do you cut one of those 10s? So 15 times 2 is about 30, let's say about 33% of the time you're going to cut a jack. So the thing that is important in this position is, well, let's just see what happens with the math there. If we cut one of these 10s, we get 12 points, and that we're getting 12 points about 33% of the time, so a third of the time. So it means that our hand is sort of improving very consistently. Other things that really help for this hand would be 9s as well. They do pretty fine. They improve to 8 points from 4 points. Of course, if you cut any of the 2 aces or 2 4s, that's also good. So, you know, another 12 outs there. 12? No, another 8 outs. So this hand does extremely well. However, there are some problems with it. So if we cut a 2 or a 3, we stay on 4 points. If we cut a 5, we get 6 points, which is okay. And if we cut a 6, we actually improve a bit with a 6 and a 6 as well, because we get 2, 4, 6, 8 points from a 6. It does improve a lot, actually. I was thinking that 6s we had trouble with. But 7s and 8s are quite bad. Whenever we cut an 8, then we only get 4 points. 7s are okay. They only improve to 6 points. So as you can see, that it's sort of a high variance play. we're not guaranteeing ourselves to get 6 points. If we cut 2s and 3s, it's kind of bad. But at the same time, we're going to get very high average of pretty close to, I assume, about 10 points if we cut the if we keep double ace double four. On the other hand, if we do as we did in the game, throw away ace 9, we don't have the potential to get 12 points anymore as often. What do I mean? I mean, in order to get 12 points from ace double four jack, you need to cut a jack or a 4. Or an ace, I guess. But there's only 2 4s, 2 aces, and 3 jacks left in the deck. So that's 7 different cards to give you the 12 points. And how often does that happen? Well, 7 times 2 is 14 and a little bit, make it 15 and a half. So 15.5% of the time you're only you're gonna get 12 points here. And also maybe this is something people don't know, which is how to get an idea of the percentages from the number of outs. My little rule of thumb is that you double the number of outs and then you add about 10%, and that gives you the percentage. So the reason why that works is because there are 46 cards, and if you double 46 you get 92, and 92 plus about 10% is pretty close to 100. So that gives you a way to sort of multiplicatively get to something close to 100. If you double, then you start to you start getting rounding errors pretty quickly once you count more than 10 outs. So that's why I add the 10%. Okay. So the other thing that's nice about keeping double ace double four is that we get to throw away 9 jack into the crib. And 9 jack has nice potential, so we have the potential to get a run if our opponent throws away any 10s, and if we cut any 10s as well. The ideal cut would be a 10 in that case. We don't have any flushes in hand, we don't need to consider that. And so the final question is, sort of, if we're throwing away, if we're not keeping double ace double four, are we throwing away 9, 8, or ace 9 or 4 9? And I'm actually not too sure about this. I think that in hindsight it might have been better to throw away the to throw away the 4 9, because the 4 makes more runs in the crib. So 4 9 is better in the crib than ace 9. Also, ace 9 not so good because it's worth 10 in total, and our opponent doesn't throw away many 5s. Opponent might throw away more 2s than 5s, so 4 9 is probably better in that sense. However, I threw away ace 9 because I thought that ace 4 4 jacks plays better, and that's what I wanted to go for. However, that might not necessarily be true. Keeping double ace in your hand is actually quite good a lot of the time. You get to play out the 2 aces together at the end, towards the end of a playing round, and you get to sometimes trap your opponent's aces that have not managed to play themselves out during the course of a round. So sometimes you can get 6 points out of your pair of aces, which can be really nice. Also, you can easily make 31s with your pair of aces, and with double ace 4 9 we've got a range of values that allow us to sort of do lots of things. It's similar to the ace double 4 9, we keep a range of values there, but the double aces are going to give us more value, I think, on the play, just on average. So I think we missed a slight trick there, but I don't think it's too bad. Let's ask the computer and see what it suggests, and let's see if we can compare that with our thought process right now. So as we ask the computer what to do, we notice some interesting things that I didn't expect, actually. So we're on Liam Brown's website, and it suggests 4 9 as the best discard, And the reason why that is because it doesn't have the best hand or the best crib. Of course, if you want the best crib, you should throw away ace 4 because that puts 5 into the crib and improves the most, but we're never doing that because we're going to be splitting up our double ace, double 4 way too much, not allowing ourselves to keep any pairs that way, so we can ignore that best crib. However, throwing away Jack 9, we can see out of the top 5 discards, Jack 9 is the best there. 4.08 is the average, and it has a fairly reasonable standard deviation. It's a little bit higher than the others, which we expect because it is making 3 points whenever we cut a 10, so that's a big point jump. Now, the reason why 4-9 is the best is not because of the crib or the hand individually, but it's just the overall consistency between the two, or the sum, how they come together. Because if we compare it to the 9 Jack, then 9 Jack discard keeps double ace, double 4, which I initially thought was going to be quite a lot of points. It wasn't as many as I thought, though. It's only 7.91. Of course, it has quite a high standard deviation compared to the ones around it, almost an extra point, and we know why that is. It's because whenever you cut a 10, you're doing extremely well for yourself, and whenever you cut a 2 or a 3, you're doing poorly, and the other cuts are fairly okay. I guess 9s and 6s are pretty good too. So the next one underneath, this is what we did. We threw away ace 9, and I'm surprised that this has the best hand average, but maybe we can think of why that is. Let's compare throwing away ace 9 with 4-9. What's the difference in terms of our hand? Well, by keeping the double 4 ace, we keep more middling numbers, and so we intuit that there are more ways to make 15. And if we start thinking through the cuts, that bears out, because if we cut a 6, then we've got ace double 4 6 for 15. If we cut a 7, we've got double 4 7 for 15. If we cut what else? I think it's those two, really. Whereas with the double ace 4, there are other ways for us to make 15, but they usually involve the 2 aces. So for instance, if we cut a 3, then we've got double ace 3 Jack for 15. And if we cut a... what else is good for us? If we cut a 9, then we've got double ace 4 9 is 15. But the difference is that we already know where one of the 9s is. So that means that 4-9 makes a few more points because of the removal that we have against making our own points. Wait, no, that's not the case. I'm arguing the opposite thing. We're saying that 4-9 here is... No, ace 9 is worth more because of the removal of our 9 if we were to discard 4-9. Okay. So that's why it's only worth about 400s, though. It's not a huge factor. It's only an extra... it's only one extra discard that's giving us 2 extra points. So that's why it's only worth 400s. And we know why Jack 9 doesn't make as many points in the crib. It's because of all of the bad cuts that are possible. But the other thing that's worse, of course, about ace 9, or the one thing that's worse about ace 9 is the crib. So on average, 4-9 in the crib is going to get you about 3.5. And you can see the difference in the suitedness as well. So if we throw away 4-9 suited, then it's apparently giving us an extra point 0.4 0.6 no 0.4 in the crib. And if you read sort of the methodology, then this is just a uniform amount that's been added for suited discards. So it's not particularly simulated in this case. So you should be aware of that. And it's 3.5 in the crib is a little bit more than the ace 9, which is 3.14 in the crib. So we know why that is. The 4 makes more runs than the ace. Also, ace 9 adds to 10, so opponent's not throwing away 5s in order to make his 15s. And so I suspect that the 4-9 really dominates the ace 9 in the crib. And so if we have a look at the distributions, we can see that's really the case. So most of the time, the median is median might be somewhere around 4 from what I remember, but the mode is 2, and for ace 9 we make 0 about 18.4% of the time. 4-9 we make 0 about 10% of the time. So that's an extra 8% there. 4% in the other direction at 2. And then everything's pretty similar afterwards. I guess there's a slight spike for 4-9 at 6 whenever our opponent throws away something like 2-9. Or we get like 2-4 appearing in the crib. It's a lot harder for us to get 6 points because we'd need something like ace 5 or whatever the equivalents are to the 6 points made by 2-4. We have a slight spike at 8 points, and that's because if we do get ace 5 and a 10 shows up, the 5 makes 10s. The 5 makes 15s with the 10. But these are fairly inconsequential. They appear with such low frequency that we don't need to worry about them too much here. The most important thing is that by throwing away 4-9, you give yourself just significantly more points, especially at the low end. Right, you shift that 8% that was getting you 0 points, and you shift it up to the 2s and the higher numbers. So 4% gets put into the 2s, and some, maybe not the 4s, but yes, there are also some outs at some really high numbers that seem a bit higher here. I can't explain why. Oh. I can't explain why there's a 1% chance to hit 12, but only a 0.6% chance to hit 12 for ace 9. Anyway, some things will remain a mystery about these distributions, and that is the wonderful thing about cribbage. It's all very complicated. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that one, and I will see you next time for another daily cribbage. Bye for now.